everybody. Welcome to the Shrimp City Report, Charleston's #1 podcast on leisure, entertainment, and living. Today we have Doc Gallows of wrestling fame throughout the years, and he's going to be appearing at the MLW event that's right around the corner, and we're lucky to have Doc today. How you doing?
I am doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on here. I love the name, the Shrimp City Report. I'm fortunate to be in Charleston April the 12th for the big MLW event. We're starting the MLW Fusion show coming up. There'll be more details released on that, but I got to throw it to you guys. I'm spending the 12th and the 13th in Charleston. You're called the Shrimp City Report. I love the Lowcountry, and I love the seafood. Do you have a Monday recommendation for lunch?
Let's see. What do you think, Devin? Trying to get some anything on Shem Creek, which is in Mount Pleasant. So all of those restaurants are pretty rad. My favorite place is Page's Okra Grill if you get over there. So
okay, all right, very cool. Yeah, try the local fare.
Rappahannock is pretty great too.
What's the name of it?
It's called Rappahannock, even though it's
Rappahannock. Okay, I've heard of that one. Very cool. All right, well, thank you, guys.
So, Doc, we could go all over the place. You're from Cumberland, Maryland, right?
Yep. Born and raised there. Been in Georgia for 21 years now. I got relocated here when I signed my first WWE developmental deal way back when I first met Court Bauer, the man in charge of MLW now. But Atlanta is a Delta up, so you can fly direct anywhere in the world, which I certainly need. It's very helpful. So I'm planted here for now.
Yeah, a lot of pro wrestlers do that, I suppose. So Maryland, you were at Cumberland's over near the mountains, right? So you're not really all in the Crab area, are you?
No, we were in Appalachia. Like you need to go, 2.5, 3 hours east to get to like Baltimore's Inner Harbor, where all the famous Jimmy's famous seafood is there. They're big wrestling people there. All the good crab cakes, the Maryland style crabs and all that are down there. But I grew up in the mountains.
Okay, and so I did note that you played football in college, right? At Fairmont?
Yeah, Fairmont State in West Virginia. I played 2 seasons there, and then my coach caught me moonlighting as an independent professional wrestler on the weekend.
Oh, wow, really?
Had a choice to make, and here we are all these years later. And I got a son in college right now who just got into pro wrestling, but he knows the deal that he has to show me a degree before we're going to go all the way with it, not to be like dad.
How'd you like raising your son in Georgia? Do you think it was a good thing around Atlanta?
It was a good thing. I don't live necessarily around Atlanta. I'm about an hour south. He grew up on a beautiful little man-made lake called Jackson Lake out here. And then as the family grew, now we got a good amount of property out tucked away from everybody. So if you can avoid the traffic of downtown Atlanta, Georgia is a nice place to live. But you guys know that. You live in a beautiful city. I love Charleston. It's a great area.
Yeah, we're quite partial to that. We were wondering if you'd been around this area before, and I guess since you already have a knowledge of the Lowcountry, I guess you're looking forward, and that's pretty cool that you get to stay 2 days. Are you bringing the family down with you?
I actually can't bring the family on this one because I immediately leave from there and go to Las Vegas for WrestleMania week, where we're slam packed with autograph signing shows. All kinds of stuff, and then we get home for a short amount of time, and then we head off for a tour of Japan for 2.5 weeks, go straight from there to Australia, then back to Japan. It's this time of year is wild, which is a great thing, but a lot of windshield time, a lot of airplane time, a lot of time on the road, so it can be an adjustment for sure.
I guess you're a veteran of being on the road, but when does it start taking its toll, or are you so used to it, you've got it down to a science?
It's pretty scientific. Even I don't want to brag, because when you brag, karma can run over your dogma, I have found. But even with the TSA shutdown, I have my little tricks in Atlanta, and I was able to move in and out of there the last few weeks very easily, which I'm very fortunate for. Again, I don't want to sound braggadocious, because I saw them then and there for 3, 4, and 5 hours. People, and I know where to go. So it ended up working out for me. I promoted a couple of shows in Georgia a few weeks ago, and with the travel stuff, as much of a pain as it can be, I felt odd that I didn't have to go to the airport. So I don't know if that's something that becomes ingrained in you or what, for better or for worse. But yeah, I'm there all the time. It's part of it. It's like getting up and going to the office and anything else, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess you're traveling a lot for all of your other hustles, and you're doing indie gigs, as I understand. And now you're with MLW with Machine Gun, and that's we caught the last one in Charleston, and we're following it very much. Is it good to keep on hanging and doing work with Karl Anderson?
Yeah, we're together. We're an act all the way.
Mhm.
We jumped ship from New Japan Pro Wrestling to Pro Wrestling Noah together. We got a lot of time coming up over there. Like I said, the tour of Australia is together.
Mhm.
When we do independent stuff on the weekend, we became the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling inaugural tag team champions last weekend in Canada. Then we shot over to Spokane, Washington. They had a great show at a massive casino there. So yeah, it's been pretty wild. Tomorrow we're in Dallas, Texas for the NWA Crockett Cup, the tag team tournament. And then, round that out next weekend. I'm home here in Georgia briefly. My son and I are doing a show together up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and then I'll be seeing you guys in Charleston. So we're staying on the move for sure.
Right on. Do you think I guess you got into the business early with, all the promotions. When you did WWE's Tough Enough, is that kind of like the defining moment that kind of catapulted you?
Yeah, because that was the real doorway that got me on their radar. Like I said, I started doing independent shows at 18 years old, secretly under a
Yeah.
mask, playing college ball. I got caught. I had a choice to make. I decided I was going to pursue wrestling. I went home to a community college, lost my scholarship, and I was like, now you have to make it because
Mhm.
you get this other crazy opportunity. So I would send my matches to them every single week with really no reply. And then I saw the ad pop up for Tough Enough, and it was right when I turned 20 years old. And I submitted my thing, and then I saw my little promo on TV a week later, and I was, over the moon. Now I flew across the country broke to do the Tough Enough tryout on Venice Beach there in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
I was the youngest guy there. There were bodybuilders and NFL players and everybody who had come from everything else. There were a few independent wrestlers, but it was definitely eye-opening because it was like, okay, you're a boy on a field of men now. It's time to grow up and kind of do this. And I had a great first day, kind of a subpar second day. There's a lot of funny stories that come with that. We had an obstacle course and the drawstring on my shorts broke, so I ended up the dude from the waist down.
Flashing everybody.
Right. It didn't fare well for me in the result. But out of that, I met John Laurinaitis and Fit Finley and a lot of the WWE officials at the time who were decision makers. And that was kind of a way that I got put in touch with them. And I bothered them every week. And they started a developmental program here in Georgia. And I got signed right after my 21st birthday. So I've been wrestling full time since then.
Hey everyone, we really want to encourage you to visit the Refinery in Charleston, South Carolina. The Refinery is a beautiful mixed-use facility that's home to upscale office space, 2 restaurants, the Limbo Lounge, and an amphitheater that hosts national, regional, and local acts year-round. We cannot recommend it enough. Go to therefinerychs.com to get event and venue information. You can also go to the site to learn how you can even book the spaces you want for your own event. So go check them out, and thanks. Okay, so you've been wrestling full time. Out of the bat, you came out. You were as Jesse on WWE, and I did not realize that. Not Jesse. I'm sorry. You were Festus.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were Festus on WWE. I didn't realize that Jesse was Terry Gordy's son. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, Jesse was Terry Gordy's son. They always thought that I was Terry Gordy's son when we would see people out in public because I'm bigger like Terry was, and Jesse was a little bit smaller of a guy stature-wise. The first thing I did, I was the imposter Kane. They had a Kane versus Kane storyline when he was coming out with a horror movie. I did that when I was 22 in 06, and then in 07, we became Jesse and Festus. And we had a 2-year run with that, and then I got repackaged again, and I went with CM Punk. We were the Straight Edge Society, and then right before my ripe old age of 26th birthday, I got released for the first time, and that took me into promoting wrestling in the third world over in Africa, a lot of crazy places. I wrestled in Japan for the first time on my own, and then I signed with TNA in 2012 and did a year there, and then went right from there to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then that was kind of birth of the Bullet Club, which projected us to where we're still riding that to this day.
Well, when you went to TNA and you were only there a year, you got thrown into Aces and Eights, right? So that's man, that is a lot of exposure off the bat.
It was a ton. I mean, I wrestled Sting on pay-per-view. I beat him up with a ball-peen hammer. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, the iconic guys. That time period of TNA gets looked over, but when you look at that roster, then I mean, you had Jeff Hardy, you had Kurt Angle, you had Hulk Hogan, you had Sting, and that as the legendary veteran guys. You had Samoa Joe, you had AJ Styles, all these names, and then we came in and formed that Aces and Eights group. And it's funny because I get asked about my previous characters a lot, and Aces and Eights is a 50-50 one. Either people kind of laugh it off or they absolutely loved it. But at that time period, there was a show on television called Sons of Anarchy, and men in that demographic, that like 18 to 34, absolutely loved this outlaw biker thing. And Eric Bischoff, who was at TNA at the time, him and Jason Hervey were producing a reality show based on an outlaw biker gang.
Oh, okay.
I think it just coincided with having that idea. And I had just done a run in India, actually, on a show called Ring Ka King over there, where I rode a Harley to the ring and all that stuff. So it was kind of a perfect fit. I went down there and worked with Frankie Kazarian, who's the TNA champion now. I did a little tryout match and I got hired the next night. So I fell into that role.
Okay, so you went from Aces and Eights. So the New Japan run, that's a particular favorite of mine because, I mean, the Bullet Club, you go from one ensemble group or stable or whatever they're calling them these days into Bullet Club, which was possibly the greatest phenomenon, in my opinion, in wrestling since probably the NWO and everything. I mean, was that pretty special? And the fact that they combined the Gaijin or the international folks with
it started as a Gaijin group. They got together with like Finn, Tomatonga, Karl Anderson, and Bad Luck Fale in May, and decided they were going to be a group. They named it Bullet Club. October, the Young Bucks come in. They did the group. November, I come in as Carl's partner for the tag league. We win the tag league. In November, we go on to my first Tokyo Dome, and we win the IWGP tag team titles. And I mean, it took off like fire because right after that, they released that second shirt, the iconic shirt with the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, it was all Gaijin, all foreigners in the group. And then, of course, we add to it, and you get, Kenny Omega and a whole host of guys over the next couple of years. But I remember we left the Tokyo Dome Hotel on WrestleMania Sunday to go over to the New Japan dojo and have a workout, eat some chanko. The young guys would cook us this big meal. And somebody had WrestleMania on an iPad. And I remember they did a wide shot of the crowd. And I saw all these Bullet Club shirts. And I'm like, boys, you got to see this. Because we're basically, at that time, we're 35 weeks a year in Japan. We basically lived, and we went, holy shit. Like, this thing has taken off. And then I remember going home after that tour, and I went to the mall with my son was little at the time. We were shopping in the mall, and I kept seeing people walking up with the shirts on. They were too sweet on us. And then, after that, it went crazy. They released everything. They started selling the shirts at Hot Topic, and it became a phenomenon.
That's right.
Yeah. It was like, for a foreign group to get over like that, there's a lot of ingredients that I think helped it. But I think when people would switch over and look at that New Japan product, the wrestling was so good. And then you have all these crazy foreigners who are doing whatever they want, and they're obviously having a great time. And I think people saw that and saw how organic it was. And it wasn't, we weren't produced in Japan. It's like, hey, you're going to wrestle this guy and you're going to win. That's it. Go out there and do whatever you want. I mean, there was, if you go back and look at the clips, some of it's a little vulgar with the profanity.
Oh yeah, the salty language I was about to bring up.
Yeah, but man, we're having a blast, and I think people just got with it. It was kind of like the DX NWO stuff in the generation previous. But people loved what they saw and they wanted to be part of it. So we kind of caught lightning in a bottle for sure.
Yeah, I recall going on Pro Wrestling Tees, and like the first 2 pages were nothing but Bullet Club derivatives and 5 Omegas, T-shirts, and just.
They put the shirt up. It sold 8,000 shirts in like 30 minutes and crashed the website as soon as
Okay, so I will let you go in a few minutes. One thing that DJ was interested in, and both of us are interested in, is staying fit? I mean, you're on the go so much. Are basically your ring taking care of your fitness at this point, or?
No, you have to stay in the gym to do this. I mean, especially as you start to age and stuff, you got to stay strong, you got to stay fit, and there's no cardio like ring cardio, but I feel like you have to look the part too.
Mm-hmm.
I put a gym in my house during COVID, which was great because it was such a time saver. But like today, I'm out. I got to buy a suit for an appearance coming up, and then I have to go to the airport. So I'm talking to you guys from a Planet Fitness parking lot. I'm going to jump off here, run in there, get a pump, take a shower, hopefully find a dress shirt that fits, and then head to the airport. So.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, Doc Gallows is going to be appearing at the MLW and New Japan Wrestling presents CMLL Fantastica Mania USA 2026 in Charleston on April 12th. And you will be there with Karl Anderson as well?
Yep, Machine Gun Karl Anderson and I will be there, world famous good brothers. If you have not seen MLW live, you need to check it out. This is an edgy show. We're moving into MLW Fusion and its return to television. You never know what you're going to see from Don Gatto and MLW, from Danny McBride. Be there live in Charleston, April 12th.
Any media you'd like to have? Instagram or otherwise?
Yeah. Follow me, _Big LG across all platforms. Follow Machine Gun Karl Anderson at Machine Gun KA. We are live every single Wednesday night on YouTube, our Talking Shop podcast. We're also in audio form anywhere you listen to podcasts. We had a great guest the past week. We had Finn Balor from WWE. We had Scarlett.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. So we got big things coming up in the podcasting world as well. So check us out, Talking Shop, wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right. Well, thanks again, Doc, and to all of our Lowcountry friends and family. Y'all have a good week and talk to you soon.
Thanks very much, guys.
See you. Bye.